watching football.
Hey, you know what? Boomer sooner. Hey, Dwayne, we put the softball game in the TV up there in the budget?
See how much we miss of it.
How about that last night? Oh, that's something. How about that walk-off home run against
They
Florida?
can win it, it's done.
Yeah,
That was it.
that was crazy, wasn't it?
That was awesome.
Once they came back, I knew they was gonna do something.
Peters, how are you?
Spinning around, sit right there. Probably easy.
I got a little worried about our picture last night.
It'll make it a little bit easier to write.
Good.
Probably not
Hanging
at
on
this
my
point.
side. Hanging on that.
I don't know. Good evening, sir.
Pretty good. Not freezing.
Did he bring you? I hope it ain't cold in here.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And I've never been telling softball. You know, call it, I would love. And walked right out.
Yeah, I got this something else. Saw something on there, I guess I just had to look at it. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's
Doing okay?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, how about you?
Wagoner?
How are you, sir?
Bud?
You healthy?
How you doing, sweetie? With what? I don't know, I didn't know. So Sarah, when, Mr. Abraham, he was over at, Rodney's Decent Service, Social Service, and he came up and he said, I'm coaching, I'm chairman, I'm like, huh? I said, I didn't know they had any meetings. He's like, yeah, they voted me for, chairman, and I wasn't even there. I'm like, okay.
Need a piece of plywood? You don't put that, mount that stuff on a piece of plywood?
Yeah, probably a little skin.
All I need is a piece of plywood and a ratchet strap.
I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can
Rest of the
squeeze
stuff
through
will be
here.
here tomorrow.
I got it.
Whoop.
Guess this is our package.
Well, I think yours is right here. Chief.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, how about you?
I'm all right.
Ready for tonight?
Yeah.
Gonna
Yeah.
make it across the pond?
Yeah. Yeah. You said, am I gonna make it for the forum? Nope. All the county commissioners, candidates, sheriff candidates, district three, district
Like they
33.
did last time?
Yeah. So, you know, I was I was in the truck making a
Getting older by the day.
video to send, because I mean, it is, but I got like 5 other ones I have to do.
Oh,
Larry not here yet?
In Roberts County, I got another one in Cherokee County.
I'm good.
another
You
one
okay?
in Maine County. So I got 2 there. So there'll be enough time for people to make their decisions.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget about, it's more than just Wagoner County. It's-
All right, we're live already. Got just a little bit more time. Not quite there. Now we are. I'd like to call the City of Wagoner special call business meeting June 6th at 6 p.m.
Item number 1 is discussion, public hearing on 2024-2025 city and EMS budgets.
Larry coming?
Yeah,
I didn't even notice.
I thought he was. He told me earlier he'd be here.
Does anybody have any public comment?
We setting a date on this or what? Today or what? How are we doing it?
What do you mean?
I mean, like a date when we gonna have the public hearing?
This is it right now.
This is the public hearing.
I just thought it had to be noticed.
It was in the paper.
Yeah, we advertised it in the paper. Yeah. Anyone have anything? Alan? Go right ahead.
I don't know if this is the meeting point or not, but about the raising the salaries increase.
That's it. This is it.
I don't think it's a good idea to raise.
Let me give you my cup, sorry.
I'm pretty sure my audience.
I want to make sure the live stream can.
Check.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea to raise salaries, because everybody knows if you raise salaries for city workers and town workers, that means taxes go up.
What taxes?
Well, in order to pay the salary, the taxes has to go up.
Not at all. We're not raising any taxes.
Well, where are you going to get the money for it? This town's broke.
It's coming from our sales tax revenue.
So then those taxes will have to go up to pay for it.
No.
Are you sure about that?
100%.
Okay.
Inflation takes care of itself.
Okay. And also, I don't think we should be raising the city rates for the Wagoner Public Works Authority, because there's a lot of people in this town that cannot afford their bill.
Well, we haven't said we are raising rates right now. What
But
we
we're
just
looking
did
at-
was having a rate study.
Yeah, we're looking at to raise the rates.
Do what now?
We're looking at to raise the rates, right?
No.
A rate study to raise them.
It could be to lower them. We don't know. We have to do the study to see where we're at.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to say.
Do you understand on the taxes part? You understand we're
Yeah, I
not
did a
raising
lot of
taxes.
research on it.
Most, that municipality is only funded on sales tax. So like your property taxes, things like that, we don't get that.
Right. Property tax goes to the county.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is not raising any taxes. I'm not for raising taxes. So I want to make sure you know that.
Okay. So if people get a raise, the taxes will not go up? The
Not
sales
at all.
tax?
What it is we had a very good year with the budget. We cut wasteful spending. We're being able to
Yeah, I
use
saw.
money elsewhere. And so we are giving our employees a cost of living raise.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, does anybody else have anything they want to say? Let's wait on him. We'll move on.
Trains were bad. I sit there for over 30 minutes
Yeah.
trying to get to my house.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
they're
slow
working
mover,
on-
and then just a while ago, they were sitting dead on the track.
They're working on the
Changing the
track.
switch
They're
and all
switching on the track, so it's got it slowed way down.
Pick him up the fire truck, almost 40 minutes.
They're changing those sets.
Go pick him up the fire truck. Go pick him up the fire
Oh,
truck.
yes, it is. Yeah,
Interesting question to find out about.
about the road closure.
They've got a man there down there.
We'll read it out. We're live right now.
I was going to say, you want me to read it?
Yeah. So we do have a road closure announcement. Notifications, the railroad is working on the train tracks. The only train tracks that are currently clear are from Southwest Fifth in Maine. Another way to go through town is, of course, go down 69. And Gertrude, believe it's a small chance, but if you're coming from Muskogee or whatever, you can also go back there and come up to 51 by the cemetery there. So
If you did not get that text, please sign up for our mouth.
I just now got it.
Do we know how long they're gonna be working on the track?
don't know.
Send them all over. I can use that. We'll send them all over to your house.
Around the way. Yeah.
Almost, we don't track, I've had to go up North Gertrude.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed Larry.
There's a bunch of rain.
Feel bad.
Whenever it fled.
I was trying to hurry up. I was late getting in here.
Yes.
When it floods, it goes up to the stop sign. Launch it right there and put a jug line down there.
Shorts of the night. You were freezing to death.
Did you say you're about to freeze to death?
No, I said, they will.
I'm burning up.
It's gotta be like
It's hot.
Not today.
What about if we turn the fans on, Brenda?
Last year, 3 years already.
Get some airflow.
I always go down there,
It's stuffy in here.
water at the stop sign.
See? She's out there fanning. Hold on, Alan. Hey, what's that on? What'd you put it to? Okay. I didn't tell him to do it, Brenda.
Did
she bring her
Did he say where it was?
You didn't bring your city of West?
He's on his way.
You're gonna need to be keeping
I
a
was
blanket
late.
down here.
A blanket out in the truck, you want it?
I couldn't even find my book. So I had a panic attack. Okay, if I need to hold on. If I start feeling like this. Thanks.
I got a coat in my truck, her car.
I probably did.
I guess Larry's not a softball fan.
Because we're trying to hurry.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Imagine
7
playing
o'clock.
outside
Win,
tomorrow.
that's champions.
It's
This is like,
inside.
this is like the first year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife hadn't been in like.
Really?
20 years.
Let's go.
Whenever we got together, she was born whenever she was in high school.
You know, since I'm moving, I found a bunch of old newspapers. And there's one of her in high school. Yeah. You ought to see there's Fire Appreciation Week. You ought to see Darrell Watkins and Kelly in there. Lots of good ones in there.
Lori, are you taking orders?
Hey, don't forget to tip your bartender, folks.
Go get some. I didn't do watermelon. I did watermelon.
Hello. Are you coming?
It's better, we waited.
Where at? Are you down on Fifth Street?
Well, you ain't gonna get through north.
All right. All right,
Did-
we'll be,
He,
We'll be-
Southwest Fifth and
yeah, you're the
Main
only
is
one
the
late, everybody else is here.
Southwest Fifth and Main.
Is the only one open.
Or Gertrude.
Southwest Fifth and Main is open.
Tell him Gertrude, there's no track on there.
Just down, he said it's closed down now.
Gertrude?
Fifth and Main.
We'll go down to 15.
No, that's closed.
You going down Gertrude?
That's gonna be his only way.
Yeah, hoof it.
Hey, Jim, will you text your drivers and let them know that?
All right. Well, see what,
Your guys know, but yeah, your guys told me, never mind.
all right, well, go ahead. All right. All right, bye. All right, bye.
I'll tell them.
Do we need to go ahead?
Okay,
Go
all
after
right.
Joe.
It's,
All right, bye.
I don't know.
And I didn't get figures either.
What do y'all wanna do? Y'all wanna
He said,
proceed
go ahead,
or
he
wait?
said, go ahead and do it. He said, I'll be there in just a few.
All right, let's just go ahead.
Okay. Item number 2, discussion and planning of the 2024, 2025 city and EMS budgets. Give this to Wayne or do you?
He might, yeah. Let's see.
You want to present it, Mayor?
Go ahead. Go ahead, we'll do it just like before.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get the discussion and planning underway. In the revenues aspects in the city of Wagoner, we'll take a shot at getting this conversation done tonight and going forward. You can see the revenue has went up from $2,889,323 to $3,357,835 on cash on hand, which has allowed us to be able to make the budget we have as well. By the time we get the final revenues in for the end of the month of May, the rest of the cash on hand with the department that we have throughout there, that's when we have our final number to be able to try to hone this budget in. That's the only line item change you see. As always, any changes in the budget is highlighted in yellow. Previous changes from previous budget meeting is grayed out. So with the total revenue of $8,475,860. Moving into the Parks and Recreation Department. The only changes we have in there are highlighted in yellow. We have the pickleball court project in there, $25,000 with the grant money from the Cherokee Nation. We also have a transfer from capital project for the tennis court road. When the new additional tennis courts was put in this last year with the school in cooperation with the city. It took out part of that road to connect it through the park. We initially had that in this last budget at $10,000. Going back and figuring that and trying to put a parking lot in there as well on the east side of that. We made that adjustment number up to $25,000, so we'll be able to extend the road on, connect it to throughout the park, and be able to build a parking lot there on the east side of the tennis courts. Any questions within the Park and Recreation Department? As you can see, just above the pickleball court, we have the Cherokee grant expense of $25,000. We also have an additional $25,000 in there for a total of $50,000 to create the pickleball courts over there in Lincoln Park. And we also have to have that completed by September 30th, which is a quick time frame, but we're going to work pretty hard to try to get that completed by then.
We just got through the park, Larry.
Would you like me to go over that? Or move on? Okay. We also have attachment documents in there for the pickleball court as well. Municipal court, we have no changes. Any questions in municipal court? Seeing none, I'll move on. Water park, we have no changes. Any questions within the water park? Seeing none, I'll move on as well. Airport, no changes. Any questions? Seeing none, I will move on. General government, we have a change in the salaries, adding an additional employee. That's the reason you see the change in there with a full-time custodian maintenance position. There was some question this last budget meeting about the community building and the park department employees taking that on and stuff. So we've modified the budget, created a full-time custodian maintenance position as well. That'll do something that we wanted to try to do anyway in the city. The maintenance side of that conversation, they can take care of all the city facilities with air conditioning, filters, painting that might be needed, those issues along that line, as well as take care of the custodial duties and stuff at the community building and some of the other facilities as we deem necessary moving into the future from that. We did get the final statement in from our OML dues. We received that statement, as you can see, so we have it highlighted. It has went up with our dues from $6,875 to $7,320. And our annual incog, which is part of our dual cog, incog and EODD, but this is the incog annual fee. We have moved that over from EDF. Previously, that was in the EDF budget. We have brought it into the city municipal budget, since it is a city function. Any questions thus far in general government?
Yeah, I got one on the, we have an annual audit, so if we got a state audit, why is there 35.2 allocated for that?
The state audit doesn't do what the annual audit does. That forensic audit only starts out at 10 questions, 10 things. The annual audit audits the entire city. And we're required by law to have an audit every year.
A audit, right?
Planned audit, yes.
I was just looking at it in the sense of, yes, by law, we have to have an audit, but it doesn't specify what type of audit, other than we're gonna have an audit for spending whatever, maybe $80,000, and then this one here is 35.2, potentially 35.2 up to that. So, because basically the audit we get every year is giving them information about how much we have, what's brought in, what's taken out, and then that's it. And so we get the same thing. So I don't know, I don't see why that there is a 35.2 and we are in, by law, is just.
The annual audit and the forensic audit are quite different.
Right.
On the annual audit, we look at things like depreciation. Our auditors have our depreciation schedules. That's how we record things. Our debt service, a lot of things are in the regular audit, along with our management discussion and analysis. That's the one we're required to turn in every year, state law, to the state auditor's office. And the special audit is more in-depth, and it's not the same. It doesn't necessarily cover all the items that the annual audit would.
Okay. I guess I'll do some more research on it or whatnot, because if we're sending it to the state auditor, they know exactly what they already have an audit for it, or they're doing one for, so. I guess I'll just look into it.
As well as when we go to, get loans and things like that, our banks and whatnot, we give them our annual audit. We wouldn't hand like a forensic audit to go get a loan.
Right.
Also, our OWRB loans, we are required to have our annual audit as a part of that loan. They have to have a copy of it each year in order for us to qualify for those loans.
Any other questions? Moving forward, continuation of general government, there's no change. The second page. Any questions? Seeing none, I'll move along to development services. Only change we have highlighted in this budget from the last is culvert replacements. We have increased the allocated dollars so we can try to help replace some of the culvert and drainage system issues within the city. We've increased that from 25,000 to 50,000.
So how many is that now? Because I know a lot of people call like a week after trying to get one, and they told them we was all out. of the
They
culvert.
called who?
The city office. It was like, I can't say who it was, but yeah, they call and ask for one because they're flooding.
We don't do
This
that. They buy the
Culvert?
culvert.
So what's this culvert replacement?
This culvert is for the city side of issues where it's either improperly sized or we have to make the resident and citizen go in there and upsize that culvert. They shouldn't have to bear that cost. That's where the city bears that cost, so they have to change the size of it. So the city is requiring them to change the size to a bigger size. The city's gonna bear that cost, and that's what this is.
So, for example, on Southeast Fifth, over by Ellington, that's a massive
Yeah.
ditch, massive. The wrong size culvert's in there. So, we're having to go in there and put a larger culvert in there. After the last flood, I had several people reach out to me too, and a lot of them do not know, and they're thrilled when they hear it, is if they buy the tin horn, the city installs it for free. So we do give them somewhat of an incentive because we install it to them free of charge.
So how much is a tin horn?
Depends.
On the size.
I mean,
And
the
the
lady I talked to, she was getting, what size was that? Was it 10 or 12 inch, Thomas, we went and looked at? And me and Thomas, we went and looked to tell her,
12-inch, about 500? Okay.
but you have to have a band too. What's that, another 50, 75? It just depends.
Okay.
But I had several people reach out to me too. There was a guy, he was gonna buy him and his neighbors some, and then the neighbors came back and said they didn't wanna do it. I don't know what the issue was, but a lot of people are usually very happy when we tell them we'll install it for free.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll move along. Police Department. We have no changes on the front page. Into the back page, there was some conversation brought up about some of the other older cars. Chief Haley has done some research and got us some information. We've added into this budget 2 additional vehicles in the enterprise rental aspect. Ford SUVs, I believe they are, all outfitted and uploaded with that aspect. So that moves that annual cost from $137,000 to $170,000.
And let me stop you right there before you see it. The lease on the enterprise is on the next page, so you'll be able to see all that. And that's, I believe there's 2 quotes on there. There's one that's not fully finished, but what we're going is the one that's decals, lights, radios, ready to go. Go ahead.
The next highlighted item is the Cherokee Nation ARPA grant expense. We felt it had that inputted and transferred over into the budget, this last budget meeting we had, so we're just bringing it in there. It is a change from a 0 to 50,000 because we missed that, bringing it over, so we're just highlighting it for clarification and transparency. Any questions in the police department?
Okay, I got a problem with that part. Are we still, like we voted on, 15 miles, supposed to be 15 miles on the police cars? and we have police officers living in Muskogee, from Wagoner to Muskogee, just getting to Muskogee is 16 miles. They live apparently more than the 16 miles, so we're going over the 15 miles that we voted on for these cars to be driven. And it's also even Fort Gibson. We have officers living in Fort Gibson that's driving the vehicles, and from Wagner to Fort Gibson on PC miles is 24 miles to get there, one way. So if we're letting them use these vehicles, they can't drive to town and park the vehicles and bring their car. I mean, look at the gas we could be saving, and not only that, we agreed on 15 miles to get there, 15 miles back. And if they're going on 15 miles, then they need to drive their own vehicle and park it and then get the police car.
Is that 15 miles county or city?
We voted on 15 miles when we got these new vehicles.
Well, I know that, but.
He's asking Wagoner County or the
Like
city
county
limits?
City limits or the city limits? The
On
city Wagner.
PC miles, if I put.
No.
64.
He's asking, because
Okay,
this happened before the three of us were
Right.
brought into office. He's asking, is it from the city limits, 15 miles, or from the Wagoner County boundary, 15 miles?
15 miles from Wagner County boundary to get to Muskogee County.
So,
I mean, the city, whatever that travel center is.
Chief, can you answer that?
I don't recall it being specified city limits or county. I can tell you that recently we've started doing some research, contacting numerous local law enforcement agencies around, and there's different agencies that have ranges from 20 to 35 miles. Some agencies that have where the city of Tahlequah, for example, they can drive their vehicles anywhere within a county that is contiguous with Cherokee County. So Muskogee County, Wagner County, you know, any county that adjoins Cherokee County, they can take their cars. Other agencies, like I said, have a 35 mile, they have a 25 mile, we've got 15 miles, but again, I don't recall what that, I can't sit here and say it was 15 miles from the city, or 15 miles as the crow flies, or 15 miles from the police department, or what the specifics.
I believe it is the county. I mean, whenever I was there, I mean, I can't say exactly for sure, but I believe it was the county. I mean, like I said, I don't know, for sure, but I think it was the county.
As I can recall, when AJ was in office and we was getting these vehicles, and it was 15 miles to drive a vehicle. And we're not Tahlequah, because Tahlequah got Cherokee Nation, they got more money than we have. We talk about Wagner, if we letting people drive vehicles all the way to McAllister and back to work, then
I don't think there's any
I'm
office.
just-
I wouldn't allow that.
That's just a
Department
question
living in
mark.
McAllister.
It just,
That's 88
hypothetical.
miles.
I mean, I think,
I'm stretching it
McAllister's
back.
kind of a.
Coweta is similar to us. They're allowed 25 miles.
Yeah. I know we voted on 15, so I'll look it up and get the minutes.
I think the question needs to be answered, though. I mean, is it city or county? I think it is the county, but I think that needs to be looked at, asked first.
I don't know. That's for me. I mean, I don't know why we would vote for something for the county. But, I mean, if Tahlequah does theirs like that, I mean, possibly, something needs to be looked up and addressed.
So you want me to take their cars?
They could drive the vehicles to work like everybody
You want me
else.
to take their cars?
Absolutely not.
No, we need people
Check
back.
into it.
Check into it. I mean, I
Well,
didn't
I
bring
will
this,
check into
I
it,
didn't
but I
bring
think-
this out of my mouth. This was brought to me in Walmart from citizens that told me, hey, why we got police cars going to drive to Muskogee? I said, no, we don't. It's more than 15 miles. Yeah, we do. We see them every morning. I said, well, I asked and check into that. So when I checked into it, yeah, we do have people going. That's why it's been brought up now.
So let me say this too, though. The purpose of an officer driving a vehicle home, okay, it serves multiple purposes too, okay? not only does it protect that individual's home from burglaries and et cetera and stuff, you know, because of today, in you know, the world we live in today, let's face it, officers have a target on their back, okay? And not only does it protect that officer's home, but it also protects the neighborhood that they live in, because people, you know, kids, whoever, thieves come in the neighborhoods and they see a police car sitting there, they're less likely to burglarize a house or houses or vehicles in that area. So it to me, it serves purpose, letting an officer.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
It don't really.
we represent the city of Wagner.
And I
But
agree
you
with you
also
there.
have to take into
I
consideration a
agree.
response for a callback as well.
But what I'm saying
If
is,
we've got officers that are involved in the middle of a situation and they've got to be called in, do we want them to drive past a crime scene to go to the police department, to pick up their car, to turn around and drive back to the crime scene?
So I have a question on that. Can they run hot all the way from Muskogee here?
In their marked police car?
Yes.
Yes,
Even through Muskogee and everything, city limits?
yes.
well,
It's a
It's something
city-owned
we
marked
could look
police.
into, but, when I put tires on my truck a few months ago, they come and rushed me out of there and everybody else, because there was a bomb threat. The city police, all the city officers showed up very fast, I might add. But also I believe he was, a Cherokee, I want to say SWAT team.
Marshall?
Or Marshall, but he was
It was
SWAT,
all right,
whatever he
right.
was, he was armed, oh man, it was like Rambo. But he flew in there, but he was at home when he heard the call. And I'm not, you know, man, I'm just what I witnessed. He was there pretty quick, and, you know, it just, which, that's only happened once in my life here in Wagner. But still, yeah, any kind of emergency like that or whatever, it just seems a lot easier to jump in the vehicle and take off than.
I think it needs to be set at a reasonable amount of miles.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, I was gonna say
it's
that-
not what I'm saying. It needs to be reasonable.
Or if they're
You
on
know,
call, I mean,
but-
if you're on call, then you
Come on.
should have your vehicle with you, I mean, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
separate from you being, if you're there, on a 10-hour or 12-hour shift, so being on call, you should probably have your vehicle at home, so you'll be able to,
Well,
just like any other
Yeah,
other
well,
profession.
like I said, he wasn't, so
Right.
he
Yeah.
slapped on.
Yeah.
And on top of that, if it's 15 miles, and right now, if that's what the
I
ordinance
think
is, then
15
we need
miles
to,
in county's reasonable.
kind of go abide by that, not just
That's,
think, okay, we do that, or,
Oh, yeah.
And I get what you're
I
saying.
agree.
Andrew.
It needs to be set
that's
at a
why I
reasonable
agree
amount of miles.
100% with Anthony, it needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
We need to find out exactly what it is. If that's the case, we'll bring it back to the council, we'll vote on it, we'll do whatever. But I understand also what you're saying is we voted on 15 miles. So, I mean, we vote on something that's how it's supposed to be. So we need to figure out.
Well, let's look, let's get that checked out, and then maybe we can readdress it.
We're working on the policy and procedural manual anyway, and that's where that's listed at. We can continue to look into that.
We need to address it and find out, so.
Okay, moving on. Any other issues in police department?
I got one more.
Go ahead.
Okay, the school resource officers, do they have body cams on?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the budget is a
Yeah, I
different
seen
body
that.
cam.
It's in the budget?
Yeah, I seen
Yeah.
that.
Reason
What was
why I
the name
asked
of
is
that,
some
Bob?
parent brought something to my attention. I just want to make sure if they had a body cam on, they could have recorded it.
One
if
of
it
the
is.
situations, and one of the reasons that it's in the budget now is that the body cams that we have are old and outdated, and we're starting to have problems with them breaking and things like that. The ones that we have here will alleviate that situation.
Okay.
Well, and also, didn't you say the ones we have now, they have to be uploaded to a DVD? These ones will be able to be uploaded to cloud.
They're uploaded to the
Okay,
cloud. We
good.
have unlimited cloud space.
Well, I just don't,
and
you know,
things
the
like
he
that.
say, she say, they'll stop the crap.
Absolutely.
Hey, that
That's
body
one of the
cam
main
is a
reasons
very
why.
good thing.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Moving on to the fire department. We have no change. Any questions?
So there's no change.
No change.
No highlights, no change.
The expense is different though.
No, what line item?
I'm not sure. We have 1.235, and down here on the old is 1.226. So there's something changed in there.
No changes from the last budget.
Last budget, yes. In the last budget we presented. That's the reference I make.
That's the, oh, hold on, that's, he's, he has something.
I'm looking, can't find it yet.
Tell him the number. There's something different from the last meeting.
Yeah.
$3,000 more, right?
More than that, 9,000.
That's all I could see.
There's a 8,000.
I'm almost
8,000
to
plus
it.
dollars
Hold on.
difference.
I'm almost to it.
Is that the overtime adjustment?
It might be. Give me just 1 second.
49, there's 1,000 in the workers' comp, it looks like. And then,
Did you go down the list?
we're in fire department, right?
Yes.
Yeah, fire pension is up with just about 1,000. I'm seeing that's only 2.
So salaries,
Everything else is, salaries is up 3, so that's 5.
it's actually less.
It was
Salaries up
up
2,000.
2,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at it backwards.
Also,
You're right.
overtime's up.
Yeah, is overtime, is that where it is?
The overtime,
There it
payroll
is.
taxes,
There's your 9, there's 6 there.
and,
Okay.
workers' comp.
Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, I calculate about 9,000. It's probably 10, a little bit over 10, but yeah, that looks about right. And it all goes from overtime.
And it might not have been 100% accurate on the raise and everything when we first put this out.
Right, yeah, let's say, $10,000 can go a long way if we make sure we.
No,
fill it.
I'm glad you caught it.
Especially if it's, we got it.
Is that
10
it?
of those
You
like
see
that.
that's different? 5, 11, 12,
Any other questions? We get that
That-
clarified, Mr.
Yeah,
Sampson?
that's all of it. Are you good on that, Patrick?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Street Department. No additional highlights, or new changes. Any questions?
Yeah, not to be a pain, there's changes, but
The changes has to be in the overtime for the adjustments in the personnel services of workers' comps and stuff, I would assume, correct? Laura?
all right.
Are you talking from last year or from last meeting?
Last meeting, I have,
Yeah,
I'll have them side by side here.
Adjustments in the overtime. Yes, and that adjusts, and it's the payroll taxes and the comp a little different too. But those are highlighted because
Is that all you have?
And that will continue out throughout each department. Any other questions in the street department? Seeing none, I'll move forward to human resources. No new highlights. Any questions?
Go ahead.
Moving on to library. No new highlights. The previous budget is grayed out as changes from the existing budget we're operating on, but there's no yellow highlights for new additions to this budget compared to the other one. Any questions in the library? Cemetery? No new highlights, no changes?
I thought we was gonna put some money in there for a new fence around the cemetery.
I think that was the one for Pioneer. We supposed to
No,
put
I've
some.
always, I've said that.
Yes, no.
We wanted to do a block at a time, but if we could,
No, and you're absolutely correct. We haven't been able to get back on the cemetery expansion. We do have the cemetery reserve in there as well for that. We think a lot of that money can go from that cemetery reserve through that. If not, we'll have to come back and do a budget adjustment in the middle of the year for that, Mr. Butler.
We'd even talked about putting a wrought iron, kind of like what Ellington
Like the
has.
school.
Up
Yeah,
there.
That's
at
what
the-
we're looking at.
At that new addition starting out.
Nice.
I wouldn't mind eventually trying to do a lot of it. Especially on that north side, get rid of that chain link.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we would like to go in there and redo that whole fencing
It's all broke
conversation.
down.
Any other questions in cemetery? Moving on to community building. No new changes. Museum, we have changes, 2 highlighted issues. And the salaries, adding a part-time employee. So we will have 2 part-time employees, 10 to 15 hours per week roughly. As you can see in the notes, kind of similar back to when we had Jerry and Larry down there at the museum, when it was Wagoner History Museum down there. So we've made that adjustment in there to try to continue to keep the museum open and have somebody there. I think, Mayor, what did we decide on, like closing it like on a Sunday, but trying to keep it
Yeah, that's
Monday through
something
Saturday?
probably need to look at maybe next meeting. 'Cause right now it's open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, I feel like it's a waste having it open on Sunday. Smoking Sisters is closed, things like that. And so I'd like to see it open kind of either Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, something like that. Plus, if we have it open Monday with school being out, give those kids an opportunity to go in there. So, I figure that's something we can vote on soon.
Moving down to the next item, the Wagoner History acquisition items. We've increased that to 1,000. Therefore, if we're able to come along, some stuff that is unique to Wagoner and its history, we have the ability to acquire it. So we've bumped that up just a little bit, from 2,500 to 3,500.
We didn't acquire anything this year, so
Right.
it's stayed at 2,500. There is several people who have reached out to me that after July 1st want to bring their stuff there. But this is, Laura found something on eBay that was probably a once-in-a-lifetime find, and what was it, like $187 or something?
I think you got up to something like that.
Yeah, I wish we would've got it. It was a state, you can tell them, it was a ribbon.
For when Oklahoma became a state, it was like the delegate where they met and discussed becoming a statehood. And it was the ribbon, and it said specifically Wagoner, and it would have only been maybe 5
It would've been
different
cool.
that was ever made. So it'd be cool to have.
Any questions?
So issues along those lines is the reason we thought we'd bump that, in just in case we come across something that was very valuable to the history of this city, we was able to try to acquire it and put it in a museum. Other than that, no other changes. Any questions with the museum? Seeing none, I will move on to Civic Center. We have a new change with the building renovation. We've had $25,000 in there Ms. Wright brought up at the last budget meeting about the painting, the outside facade of the Civic Center. I wholeheartedly agree with that statement. I would like to see something done as well. We've tried to get some estimates, and just from lack of timing, haven't got all the estimates we'd like to get in, but we have had a conversation amongst ourselves and decided we'd bump that by an additional $25,000, so we feel fairly comfortable between the mayor, myself, and a few other people talking that we think we can get that accomplished for $50,000. So we made that adjustment in this budget. Tried to address the Civic Center.
Any questions?
Seeing none, we'll move to the expense summary with a total expenses of $8,434,679 and leaves an excess fund balance of $41,181. Moving to the next item of the capital projects. Next page, I should say, transfers from the city general fund with adjustments you can see being adjusted down in that regard. And then the tennis court, road, and parking lot of the $25,000 adjustments up for being a capital project for auditing purposes and accounting building as a capital asset in the budget. Therefore, it goes into the capital projects as expenses. Any questions? Moving to the next item, economic development. Cash on hand's changed, just went up as well, at $690,435 coming in. The other changes down there in the other services charges, as noted in the city budget prior with the INCOG membership that I talked about in general government, moving that out of the economic development fund, which we've zeroed out, and brought it in the city budget as an expense for $6,000. Therefore, it's zeroed out of economic development. Also, the MET, the Metropolitan Environmental Trust, we have zeroed that out and no longer will be continuing with the MET. With those changes as well, the fund balance at the bottom has increased as well to $233,167. And that concludes the city presented budget tonight.
I may have overlooked it. Where's the reserve that we have put up? Where's that at? And how much is it? Our emergency fund is what? Thing that we did, like, what, 20% or something like that of the budget every year?
Let me grab a copy. Mind passing that over to Counselor Sampson, please?
Do I not have one in here?
There's not one in there, it's not, that's what we have put up on CDs. It's not split budgeted, and it's not in the budget for this year. These are funds that we actually have already set aside in CDs.
They are reserves.
So we're not putting anything in the reserve for this year, or do we?
Yes,
We have budgeted
we do.
in general fund $450,000.
And that's in,
That's in the city budget.
In Public Works, we have $250,000
For our
for that,
general gov,
on general go.
for reliable power, $100,000 set back for sewer reserve,
could be wrong. We'll be in general gov.
Yes. Yes.
the $450,000,
Yes. General government.
Didn't see it.
510,400.
Let me go back up there.
13,400.
Oh, well, that takes care of that.
You said 510,400
It's in the 400s.
in the 400s. Okay, and then what is it?
It is
There it is.
510, 475,
Gotcha.
450 grand general reserve fund.
And that's for this year.
That's for this year, yes, sir. We also have reserves set up in Public Works
Public Works as well.
As well as the EMS.
and MES.
May I get a copy of this?
You can have that.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Ready to move on to EMS?
Moving on to EMS, and the revenue. Bill fees transferred from WPWA has increased from $596,400 to $601,400. That's billed fees transferred from WPWA. Cash on hand is an increase of $417,483 to $481.314, or $314, excuse me. That's the changes in the revenue going in. Into the budget of EMS, we have the medical director's fees change of an increase of $6,000 from $4,800.
Went up $100 a month.
With a total expenditure of $1,997,762 and a fund balance of $178,452.
Questions? Right ahead on to Public Works.
That concludes the city and EMS budgets. Probably need it now.
Item number 3, consider amendments to the 2024-2025 city and EMS budgets.
Who got the pickleball design? Is that, you know? I mean,
Kenneth got that. That's in your packet.
Who got it?
Kenneth.
Is that 6 quarts, 4 quarts?
There's,
Four quarts.
there's a design on there that'll show you
I
what
know,
it's like.
well, we figured out 6 quarts, so that's why I was wondering. 4 quarts.
That's 4, okay, I got you. I got you.
4 quarts.
Anything else? Ready to move on? Okay, moving on.
Item number 4, consider approval of resolution number 759, a resolution accepting and approving the 2024-2025 city and EMS budgets.
Any discussion? Get a motion?
So made.
Second. Have a motion and a second. Ms. Larry, please call the roll.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Roden,
Yes.
Item number 5, consider approval of ordinance number 974, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Wagoner, Oklahoma by amending Title 7, Chapter 1 to require funds to be deposited as required by law, defining terms providing for purchasing and competitive bidding of supplies, materials, equipment, and contractual services, establishing bidding procedure and providing for the content of bid notices, providing for the award of bids, providing for the purchase of supplies, materials, equipment, and contractual services without prior council approval and competitive bidding, providing for the sale of surplus or obsolete property, repealing all ordinances or portions of ordinances in conflict therewith, and declaring an emergency.
Discussion?
What's the amount you talking about?
25,000.
Okay, and actually you think that's gonna really happen?
What do you mean?
Like, okay, here I am coming with a bid of 20, I know I can't do 25 because you're gonna have to have approval. So I'm gonna go 23,000, so I don't have to have your approval.
What do you mean not going to
Like the
my
bid.
approval?
Don't you have to, you got the bid on, I mean, one has to authorize this for 25 or greater, right?
No.
Is 25 and under,
Yes.
0 to 25?
Yes.
Make clear on record, you said 0 to 25.
100%. 0 to 25.
And you, only you,
Me. Only me.
I just want to clarify it.
For 3 more years.
Because I mean, just like our pickleball, I mean, we didn't know this was coming up, and then here it is in front of our face, and no one even told us, I mean, we worked our butts off for it, but it comes up, and there it is. That's what I'm saying. Is it gonna be you, or is it gonna be somebody else?
I'm telling you though, we got dang lucky with that, because there are stipulations in that grant. We have till September.
I know
Those are
where we
federal
got time
dollars.
frame. I know time frame.
I didn't know that.
I'm still working on getting the other stuff, and Chuck had told me about the time frame.
So, and it can only be used at Lincoln. That's another
Yeah,
stipulation.
when we got the grant, we made sure that it was earmarked to Lincoln only.
So, but no, it's gonna help us a lot. I don't know when the 3,000 was set, a long time ago. Rhonda can't even buy envelopes in bulk for a year for under 3,000, which we get a better discounted rate if you buy in bulk. There's other towns, I'll just say it, Manford's is 100,000. So I think it's gonna help us a lot.
I honestly I don't like the fact that it went from 3,000 to 25,000. Like, what made it 25,000 from there? Like, what do
Well, we went from the hospitals, I mean, something similar and close. Well, we could've went to 100,000. I don't think I would've, but
Well, no, the main things with the 3,000, there was limited error there as far as just, being able to, like, you can only do so much. And then 25,000, it basically just opens it up to, utilizing $25,000 really, really quick without any approval.
I mean, you're still gonna see it if something happens and 3 weeks later we come in here to the meeting, you're gonna see it. You ask then.
Well, then it's already done.
Yeah, but then I could be done.
Well, and that's the thing, and I mean, just being, like, from my experience, there was times that we approved things, or we came to a council meeting and actually had something to approve, and it was already approved and it was already paid. So that's something, like, now we're getting to where we could have $100,000 worth of things that are being paid for
Yeah,
in
but
advance, and then we're basically,
it goes back to, how long did we wait on playground border for Lincoln? How long did we wait on mulch? We waited and waited forever. Now we're not gonna have to. Or we get in here and we wanna change something.
Well, I mean,
You know,
we
when-
wait on
when the-
mulch, but when you want to buy something for $6,000 to $7,000 to $8,000, we come and see it here. Nobody asked us.
What are you talking about?
Just anything in general, I see in there. Somebody bought something or whatever, and they just buy it. Just like, okay, example, that wasn't a lot of money, but the museum, almost $300 of food, which
I
should have
remember
been
saying
cookie
that.
and punch, because nobody was eating the crap. And that was a waste of money. But nobody asked us how much we could spend for the museum thing. Just like someone that works for the city came up and said, oh, we can't have donuts no more for our meeting because Galo said we can't have donuts. Well, let me tell you something. When I worked for my job and I had a meeting, I went and bought the freaking donuts. Our company didn't pay for the donuts for their meetings. You know, so that's where I want to get that understanding from. You know, don't go and repeat my name and say, oh, Gala said we can't have donuts no more. Well, if you're a supervisor and you're making way more than your little employees, you can go to Daylight Donuts and spend $12 and buy some donuts. And I just, why I just don't like, I mean, I don't like tonight, not even tonight. We came in here, we got this, and we're gonna approve it tonight, okay? Yeah, you said, I don't buy the Wagoner paper very seldom, you know, I do. I try to
It wasn't just
patronize, and I don't look, I didn't
Wagoner
look at
paper.
Facebook and look at it, you know, but then again, we come in with all these changes, and we gotta approve them tonight, you know, and get them going where we have, I'm not putting past practice, but 2 or 3 budget meetings, then you come in here with the changes, you know, and it's already here, and you go through it. But I'm just saying that, I don't mind the 25,000, but I don't like to see bills that's already been paid for, and y'all come to us, just like, okay, like, now you get me deeper. Just like you, like you went to the, like people went to the conference, okay? Y'all took part-time employees to the conference, and taxpayers had to pay for it. What do? Whoop it up? You know, but then we counselors came and go to a class. They attend a class, but we could take 10 workers plus part-timers to OML conference, and which is coming up.
There was no part-time.
There wasn't a
It was,
part-time
it was
person.
part-time, because I asked y'all.
Part-time.
Davita Fox is part-time.
No, she's not. She's a full-time employee.
Well,
She's part-time on the salary thing.
Full-time employee sitting right back there.
well, I get what you're saying a little bit, and it comes back, we've been talking about different municipalities or whatnot, and what they do as far as, their travel to one town to the other and everything else, and then now, she's talking about, you know, just on OML. I know that I look at other municipalities and their government, their vice mayor, their counselors, they go to all these OML. I mean, unfortunately, I'm deeper into politics now, but I've seen that, and they've been doing it for a very, very long time. As far as, you know, so if none of the city council members are able to go to OML or go to these other things, how are we gonna learn more about what's going on, especially in a broader spectrum? Obviously, some administration need to go, for sure. But if there is 10, I don't know how many, if it was 10, if it was 2 or 3, but definitely at least 5 of those slots should be allowed for city councilors, for sure.
Question you can't do more
Can't do
than
5.
the 3.
Well,
He's using that as an example.
And so, yeah.
But they do have counselor meetings.
Oh,
It's more than
hold on a
3.
second. Yeah, I was gonna ask you that too, because, yeah, you talking about for the quorum or whatnot? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So I thought that, okay, I guess that's something different, but I've seen
No, it's,
a whole
Discussing
council
city.
member, like the whole group going to different places, and that's a quorum, and I think that has to do with the Open Records Meeting Act, and that's that part of it, but I don't think it has to do with, you know,
Can counselors go to training out of general gov?
Yes,
Is that out of that?
that's where that
If
money
you
is.
find
I've never
something,
had a
bring it up.
councilman express an interest to me.
OML as well.
I've never had a councilman ask me about going to OML. And they should be receiving OML emails. If they're not, it's because they haven't provided that information, because when they get signed up for new officials training, they absolutely should get OML emails. They send out all the conference information, training information. I've yet to have one councilman ask me about it.
well, we have asked before, and someone said, well, it's not in your budget. Make sure it's in your budget, and y'all can go.
No one has asked
And
me
not
about it
you,
being in the
not
budget,
you,
ma'am.
But it's been somebody here.
how does that?
I'll be honest with you. I don't go to things like that because most of it is networking. I have work to do here in Wagoner for the city of Wagoner that I don't want to waste time on going to something like that.
How does,
But if you want to set up an email, or if you find, I don't think anybody has any issue with our counselors going to training.
Absolutely
I was gonna say,
not.
how-
The
how
more
does
the better.
With that being said, I know we have the email thing, but how does the other people that go, how do they know that it's coming up?
Email.
Email.
I
And
get
then,
them on
and then,
emails.
then what happens is, if they know, they come and ask you, or is it?
Yeah.
They sign up, so they're not automatically like, hey,
I'm actually in a state of Oklahoma mayor's group meeting. I mean, they're constantly talking about trainings and things going on throughout the state, networking, mayor's council alliance things. but I don't have time. I got too much going on here to just go out and network.
Well, I mean, it's more, it's networking, but it's also, you know, understanding, you know, our form of government and other people's, other municipalities' form of government, and I think it's very, something that we need. I mean, that's what we do, that's what we do.
And if you feel
Yeah.
like that, we're more than happy to send you. Just find it. You find it, we'll send you.
Always been available.
I figure it just needs to be just done, like, there's 8 of us. Right, so I
These
just.
guys out here can't say, Patrick, you're going to
No,
class.
well, no, they can't say that, but they can say, hey, there's a class, literally, there's a month, we know OML is this month, and you have, so how many of you counselors?
If you guys will notify me what email address you'd like that sent to, I'll be happy to get OML to
Yeah.
send it to you. I can get you on a list, and they can notify you every time there's a
I get
training.
mine, I've
get
gotten
mine.
it before,
You find the training, like you said, go, put in and go for it.
And all you have to do is ask. We'll book rooms, we'll sign you up, we'll do all the things.
So you
That's
can
what the
reimburse
training
your
budget
mileage.
is there for.
That's the way the other employees do their training. They go and find their training, correct?
Correct.
Am I right, Chief? Your officers find their own training.
They find it, they bring it to me, and then I approve it or don't approve it, depending on
Right.
the circumstances.
I guess I'll go ahead and say I wanna go next time. You guys, it's on notice.
Hey, find it.
Well, it's already
You're on there, you're
established.
on OML's, they've got your email.
Yeah,
They
they
sent you an email.
Yeah,
Well, then you should be getting notifications, so you'll just need to let us know.
I wanna go. It's already done.
Anything else on that? Entertain a motion.
I just wanna make it clear.
But yeah,
Zero,
on the, yeah, and I'm still not, I'm just being honest, on the 25,000, it's just too much room for, without council approval, like, that's just too much of a, I would say I'd be okay with maybe 10,000, but 25 is just too much room for.
With inflation and things we find, I mean, there's a lot of times, well, what if we had a mower go down?
or what?
A mower?
Well, I mean,
That's $14,000.
well, we budgeted, I mean, that's kind of what, you know.
No, I'm saying, what if one of our older ones that are out of warranty go out?
I mean, since I've been on council, I think we've
Purchased
budgeted for
last
five or six new ones since I've been on here. And that was, yeah, so I mean, and then the ones that we had, we kept, and then they maintenance those just in
I'm
case.
I'm using that as an
I got you.
example.
Right, I get what you're saying, but again, we had, it was at $3,000 and we still budgeted for the very next, or we amended the budget to allocate that money to get that done.
So
It's like, the money is still there, but I don't know if,
So,
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, though. Say, let's go off this budget right here. We're buying 2 brand-new mowers for the cemetery. That will leave us 4 total, correct, Thomas? Hey, don't even worry about it. Now we're gonna have 4 total. Okay. We've already spent 28,000 on 2 brand-new ones. One of our older ones craps out halfway through the year. Well, let's say we got Labor Day or something coming up, people are gonna be going to the cemetery. We're gonna call a special meeting, or we're gonna have to wait 3 weeks, or we just go ahead and approve it.
or, I mean, I'm not, and like I said, I'm just looking at it, or if cemetery has 4, or let's say, just say they have 2. One craps out, well, we still have the Parks Department that has 2 or 3, we have.
Yeah,
borrow,
but
they borrow. They borrow
you're
from
going
these.
out of my example.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at there's, whenever there's a need in one department and they're down one thing.
Let's
they
say
can
we
get it
have
from
2
somewhere else.
backhoes go down.
Well, $25,000 not gonna give you enough money to do that anyway.
Well, it might be able to fix the tracks, or whatever.
And I don't know, and I think the tracks would be brought out of the general fund to fix it, because it's actually, we're not purchasing.
What if
anything.
it's not enough?
Well, then it may not be enough. I get what you're saying, but I feel like that, we've been, when you said about inflation and all this stuff like that, we've been doing this for 3 years. I mean, with $3,000 and then approving whatever you need to approve. And I just think it just brings more room for error when you got it to 25,000, went from just, I just believe it's too much. I mean, you know, I'm only one vote, so, I mean, we could,
Can I say something?
yes.
I'm just, for example, water department, our small excavator went down this month, or a couple days ago. So you're saying, it's a hydraulic pump issue, so I don't know how much hydraulic pump costs. So after a council meeting, something happens, do I have to wait a full month to get approval before I can do any work?
No, I think, and that's what, and you, correct me if I'm wrong, because you have a budget for maintenance, so that would come from the
But you're saying you have to approve that cost?
not the cost and the maintenance, though, we're talking about bidding, for, like, if we need a new mower, that's separate from maintenance for, a hydraulic pump going out or something like that, because it's something that's already existing in your service. So that's the difference that I'm talking about on that, yeah. So on that, no, you shouldn't have to wait, because you have the money allocated to fix, for repairs. Instead of buying if you need a brand new one, then yes, we would have to go, because we're talking about way more than $25,000. But I don't know, like I said, I just feel like it's just more room for error.
Okay. So we talked about budgeting $50,000 for the Civic Center. Let's say that guy shows up, one of those bids, and hey, it's 24,000, and said, man, I can start next week. Every other bid's higher. They can't get to it for 6 months. We're gonna call a special meeting the next day, or I just approve it.
I don't know. I mean,
Well, we can't call a special meeting the next day. It has to be 72 hours.
hopefully, whomever that is will give more than a 24-hour, give you more than 24 hours to make that decision. Because if they want the money, they're gonna have to maybe wait a little bit. And we've done it before too. We've done it with other things. We had to wait on things for the Parks Department or whatnot, because we had to wait till the next meeting. Done it for months and months and months. So
Yeah, but we're trying to fix that.
Again, it just all comes back down to, I don't want it to be opened up to where there's more room for error on, just bidding things, and there's just more room for, like,
So you're not trusting employees to do their job?
I just don't see it for $25,000. I just
Don't
don't.
trust the employees to do their job?
Any other further discussion? Entertain a motion?
So made. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Butler,
Yes.
Sampson,
No.
Leonard,
No.
Wagoner,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
No.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Roden.
Yes.
Item number 6, consider ending the probation period on the following employee: EMS, Damian Hammer, EMT. Note, the council may adjourn to an executive session for the purpose of discussing the above item pursuant to Title 25 OS, Section 307B1.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yes, Damian, 961. Superintendent overlay and pay increase of the 1385, effective June 3rd. And I would recommend that we take them off probation. Very good employee. So we interested in learning. I like that.
Any discussion?
Sorry.
What was it?
1385.
1385, June 3rd. No rate change.
I'll make a motion to take, was it Damian Hammer off of probation for 1385 on June 8th.
Second.
June 3rd.
Third.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Leonard,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Roden,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Wagoner.
Yes.
Item number 7 is adjournment.
So made.
Have a second. Have Larry was second. Jimmy made the motion. Please call the roll.
Higginbottom,
Yes.
Roden,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Sampson,
Yes.
Leonard,
Yes.
Abernathy,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Wagoner.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned, 7:15. Like to call the Wagner Public Works Special Called Business Meeting, June 6th at 7:16.
Item number 1 is a public hearing on the 2024-2025 WPWA budget.
Anybody have anything to say on that? Now's your time. Alan, you have anything to say on the work? Okay. No one? Go ahead.
Item number 2 is discussion and planning of the 2024-2025 WPWA budget.
I think he went to this way. Went to company.
Okay, starting into the Wagner Public Works Authority, 2024, 2025 proposed budget and the revenues aspect of it. We have a few highlights in there, revenues, or refuse collections. If you'll note in the parentheses, it's the actual closer to the number after calculations and all that. It's from 880,000 to 945,000. In EMS collections, as discussed over in the city side earlier on, again with the parentheses of the closer to the actual adjustment, with the numbers from $596,400 to $601,400. Cash on hand budget, $2,531,239 to $2,509,523. And the transfer from EDF, the Halsey exhibit remodeling, I believe we forgot to zero that out last time, therefore it's zeroed out in this proposed budget coming forth.
Where did it transfer to?
No. They forgot to take it off.
Forgot to take it off. We forgot to zero it out, in other words.
Okay.
What's the score, Karen? Huh? Okay. Appreciate it.
Sorry. Go OU.
Yeah, over Sooner.
Moving into the water plant department, we have a highlight down there with the pond residual removal. We have 3 residual ponds down there. We've had a DEQ inspection out there. We've had some issues we need to address. We know that, and we're trying to address those. We've got a line item in there for the pond residual removal in there of $110,000 in the water plant. Jody can expand on that if anybody wants questions, but that's the highlight of the conversation. No other adjustments in water plant. We do need to have a SCADA upgrade of $58,000, but we do not have the dollars at this point to do it. Therefore, it is not in this proposed budget.
Any discussion? Questions? Jody's chomping at the bit to say something.
Jody, what is the pond?
Sorry, Jody.
There's one you speaking, I just want to hear it. Could you explain that to us, please?
The pond residuals. Where we,
Backwater ponds, all the particulates that come out of our backwash, our filters, is sent to those ponds, and it ends up layering itself down, and we don't have any freeboard left in it.
it's like a sludge bank in the pond.
Inside the building, isn't it?
No.
It's on the
No, it's
outside of the building.
outside.
There's 3 ponds.
It's the
out
3
there
ponds I
at the
took you on
door.
the tour when you first became
Oh, I
a
remember that. Oh,
up
you
there
know
on top,
that, back in the
at the
country.
back.
Okay, I got you.
So it builds up like, I'll
Yeah,
say
seen that.
silt.
Yes,
on the-
that's a
And
good
so what
example.
this is, it's removing it correctly.
It's the dirty water coming out of the lake that's being filtered
Yeah.
back into the backwash into the ponds and held in a holding pond.
And then once it's filtered, the excess goes back into the lake. But that filtration
Builds up.
particulates build, and we're at almost 7, 8 foot on 2, 9 foot on pond 1, or pond 3.
Keep in mind, these plants run 24/7. They don't ever shut down and go to sleep, but continue to provide fresh water.
And
So what happened to that, what were we supposed to do? Didn't we have like a bid for something for the microbial something to go in there?
That's the wastewater plant.
Water plant, yeah.
Any other questions in the water plant?
It's easy.
Thank you, Jody.
It's easy to get them mixed up.
Seeing none, I'll move forward. Water distribution department, no changes. Any questions? Seeing none, I will move forward into the wastewater disposal plant. At the bottom, we have two changes. We did have a $60,000 dechlorination pond or building in that budget. I zeroed out. We were trying to move a process over to parasitic acid, waiting on DEQ approval. We've had that in there from that aspect. If we get that approval, we do not need the dechlorination pond or the dechlorination building. Utilizing that $60,000 as well as the departments being scrutinous with their money spending and cash going forward and the additional revenues, was able to make that $60,000 and along with another $50,000 to be able to put the $110,000 in a water plant pond removal as discussed in the previous department. Therefore, that $60,000 is zeroed out.
So you said the 60,000 that was allocated for last year is,
Zeroed out.
so where did it?
It transferred over to the water department in that $110,000 pond residual removal.
You got a question on it, Patrick?
Generator transfer switch, with all the lightning and storms we've had, that we've knocked out the generator transfer switch out there, so when we lose electricity at PSO and electricity to our sewer plant, the generator's got to kick on. The transfer switch does not automatically kick the generator on. They have to manually try to kick that on. That is highly dangerous for our employees. All of our generators have manual switches throughout the entire city and at plants that we have generators. Therefore, we've got this budgeted in there to replace that transfer switch at the wastewater plant. Those are the only two changes that we have within the wastewater plants. Any questions? Mr. Sampson, do you have any other?
Nope. No, sir.
Electric distribution. Moving along, we have no changes in electric distribution.
You got something together?
No, I just said 30,000 for overtime increase, but the.
Overtime
You
is-
have to have it.
Overtime has increased
Yeah.
throughout all the departments, as I alluded to earlier.
Well, electric has to have it.
Electric is everybody's very much aware of the storms we've experienced and the amount of hours our electric linemen have been running. It's exceeded significantly, and we have got to do that to keep our linemen working and keeping the lights on. And along with that conversation, Ms. Wright, it goes to say, down through with the workers' comp and all that stuff, justice as well, as Mr. Sampson pointed out earlier in the city department. Any other comments, questions in electric distribution? Seeing none, I'll move along. Electric office, as noted on the front with the refuse collection contract, we've made that adjustment. They both have to reflect each other from $834,000 to $899,000, as well as the transfer to EMS with the $596,400 to $601,400 is transferred from Wagoner Public Works Authority to EMS.
Have we not checked into a company yet? I know you probably haven't had time.
We absolutely have, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought that up.
Okay.
I was
And
gonna say, I was gonna tell you all, I have been working on that,
Mhm.
diligently working on that since the last budget meeting.
Mhm.
I have a quote from another company. I also have requested a rate review from our current company.
Mhm.
And they did come back with a substantial savings if we sign up, as well as I have checked into, or we are in the process, Pam was helping me with this, but we are in the process of checking with Tyler to initiate, I know this may not be the direction we want to go, but other than the $2 fee that's on there when you pay online or by phone, that we don't keep any of that, that all
Cover
goes
those charges.
Mhm.
We would initiate a fee, either a percentage or a flat fee, that's gonna be something I'll bring back to you all to decide at
Okay.
some point, when I get all the stuff. If you pay by those two methods, and we're also gonna have text to pay, which would be the same thing, initiate a fee that we would recoup some of those costs, but, the initial rate review looked like we could get a savings of about 51,000.
That's good.
Just on the public works one. That's where we lose the vast majority of the money, because it's based on the dollars that they pay.
That's still losing a lot.
I mean, it's better than none.
Yeah, so I've been.
And we're continuing to work on that, and I think we'll
Thank
get
you.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm hoping we can put the rate.
But
Yeah,
their
me too.
savings weren't as good as the 51,000.
Thank
But
you, Rhonda, I
As you,
appreciate that.
as you can see, we've moved from 86.9
card.
to 110 to 157 this year. It just continues to climb.
Hopefully we don't need all of that 100%.
That's why I still keep checkbooks.
We're still
And I
electric.
can also ask for a rate review every 6 months
Mhm.
on that.
Oh, that's
Or the
good.
current one. So I'm going to just calendar that in to ask for that rate review.
I know some credit cards do that too. You charge and you say, oh, I want to take it out of my checking account. Oh, we're gonna charge you, but this first time we won't, but the next time we will.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask for that rate review every 6 months,
Okay.
just to make sure we're staying on a current.
Okay.
Mr.
Thank you.
Sampson, you have a question?
Yeah, there's, the Halsey lease on here,
Yes.
so I thought we'd pay that last year, didn't we? It looks like it's on for 12.5.
It's supposed to be zeroed out,
I
correct?
apologize, I
Yep.
missed that.
You caught something we actually missed. That should be zeroed out, Mr. Sampson. So, yes, good catch. That'll help the fund balance at the end of this conversation, by 12.5. Any other questions in the electric office? Moving along to shop. As you see, no highlights, no new changes.
Huh? Shop, you didn't get shop?
No, I got it.
Oh, okay.
Any questions?
Trying to figure out what was in my menu out of all the places.
Mr. Sampson, you have a
No,
question?
I was wondering, I was just trying to figure out why was it an electric? The Halsey lease and the electric,
I
like,
just have to look and see it.
Oh, why it was in that?
yeah, it's like, it's,
It was just kind of a placeholder, really. I mean, it was just.
I mean, I don't know.
It's not there now.
Well,
No, but it's
what's-
gone.
Here.
Any other questions or questions for the shop? Seeing none, I'll move along. Inventory control. No change.
I know where they're at.
Any questions?
Papers.
Wastewater distribution. Will sound like a broken record. No change. Any questions of wastewater distribution?
They already started going to those new uniforms.
Yes. And we had to adjust the dollars in the uniforms and personnel
Because of
services. Because of that, that's correct. And the increase in the cost from a uniform distributor. Seeing none into the line maintenance department. No change. Which brings us to our final expense in the WPWA with a starting revenue of $15,447,523 and a total expense of $15,417,611 minus the 12.5 conversation that Counselor Sampson caught,
Yes,
which
please.
is we have a fund balance of $29,912 plus which will be $42,412 for fund balance. Moving to the capital projects. No change from the previous budget discussion. And that concludes the Wagoner Public Works Authority budget for the 2024-2025.
Any questions?
Item number 3 is consider amendments to the 2024-2025 WPWA budget. We will need a motion to make that adjustment we talked about, to zero that out and change the fund balance.
So made.
Second.
Have a motion second. Please call the roll.
Did
Me.
Gayla?
Or Galen. I second.
Thank you. Wagoner?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Roden?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Higginbottom?
Yes.
Sampson?
Yes.
Item number 4, consider accepting and approving the 2024-2025 WPWA budget as amended.
Discussion? Entertain a motion?
Second.
Anthony or,
Your turn, huh?
uh,
Higginbottom?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Wagoner?
Yes.
Roden?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Sampson?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Item number 5 is adjournment.
So made.
Second.
have a motion second. Please call the roll.
Butler?
Yes.
Wagoner?
Yes.
Leonard?
Yes.
Higginbottom?
Yes.
Sampson?
Yes.
Wright?
Yes.
Abernathy?
Yes.
Roden?
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 7:33.
Thank you, sir. Good catch.
Yep.
Oh, everybody.
Is the score still 0-0?
I'm a Little Miss Nosy.
Alan, you don't even know who's playing. You said go Florida.
I don't know why I was sitting there.
He said go Florida when
I heard it.
Don't have to use it.
I started to say, somebody show him the door.
0-0. 0-0. Yeah.